Hey guys, Buffing Game Back today, bringing out a video, and today we're going over Tactical Weapons Part 6, I believe this is going to be. Primarily focusing on what I'm using in DMZ at the moment, however, this is definitely applicable to Warzone and even multiplayer as well. So, go through some of these weapons, definitely for DMZ. If you guys haven't been playing DMZ, I know there's a lot of frustration around Warzone 2 right now. I personally have not played Warzone 2 since mid-December, just because DMZ is that much better for me personally. Not that I disliked where Warzone 2 was at, but well, a frustration. If you guys haven't tried DMZ, definitely give it a go. It's a lot of fun for engagements with the PvP, and you don't have the gas pushing against you, so the engagements can be a lot more drawn out. You can encounter multiple teams. It's definitely a lot of fun if you guys haven't been playing it. I would highly recommend getting a squad together and definitely putting in some time to the mode. So, let's go ahead now, and we'll go to some of the weapons that I'm currently using here for DMZ in the end of Season 2. And first up, we have a really nice MCX Virtus build here from Sig Sauer. So this is the M13 MCX Virtus Patrol build. Really nice weapon. This thing, I have it built for basically no recoil. So take a look at the attachments I'm using here in the tuning. First off, we're running with the 14-inch Bruin Echelon barrel. This is going to give us the damage at range increase, bullet velocity, hip fire, and the recoil control. Lastly there, you also have, you can see on the stats bar there, that bar graph, the recoil control is really negligible with this versus the base barrel there, but you're getting range and damage out of it, which is definitely good. Cons, aim down sight speed, hip recoil control, and movement speed. Now for the tuning for this, I have it tuned for max recoil steadiness and max damage at range. The ADS, if you want to tune it the other way, you can definitely go ahead and do that. I think that's fine, or just leave it right in the middle because we're not running a laser on this build. Next up, for the optic, I really like either the Vortex 90, any of these flip sights. The hybrid sight, the hammer is also really good. The Vortex 90, and in this case, we're running the angle 40 4.8. So this is going to give us that 4.8 times magnification with that flip. So it's a hybrid. So we have the standard holographic type sight with the rangefinder. And you can see there in the pros target rangefinder and dual optic toggle. So we have the 4.8 to the 1.5 times magnified optic there, along with the rangefinder, which is pretty helpful in some situations, at least to call out ranges. Personally, if you want a cleaner sight picture, I would recommend the Vortex 90. Just a clean dot there you can see is really nice. Cons here are small glint. You also have aim down sight speed and aim walking movement speed. Now, this is going to be tuned all the way to far for the eye position. We're going to leave the flinch to aim down sight speed in the middle. Next up, going to run a 45 round magazine. You can feel free to swap that out for a quad stack 60. Or if you're feeling brave, you can run a 30 round. And I love the way the 30 round magazine looks. That translucent magazine just looks beautiful on the M13, and you can definitely swap that out for a laser. So I've definitely run that too. It's definitely possible to do that in DMZ. Not so much Warzone 2 unless you're running solos, but you can definitely get away with it in DMZ. In this case, though, I'm going to be running the 45 round magazine. Next up, we're running the Phase 3 grip. So typically, I run the vertical foregrips on this, something like the Lockwood Precision, the Hex grip, or even that Magpul foregrip there with the Op X9. However, in this case, for this particular build, the Phase 3 grip is really good. You can see it's going to give us a lot of stability for the aiming idle stability and the recoil stabilization, which definitely helps. And we're going to have that tuned to max recoil stabilization, and we're going to leave the other one right there in the middle. You can definitely tune this over to max aiming idle stability. However, leaving it right there is definitely fine. So let's take a look and see. This is the final design for the M13, or the MCX Virtus Patrol. And I didn't go over the Havoc 90, did I? So this is the muzzle device here. This is going to give us the Havoc 90 or the Cronin Op 44 are going to give you max recoil control, in my opinion, for a lot of these 5.56 to the 5.45 ARs in the game. So the Extend Havoc 90 is going to give us horizontal priority recoil over the vertical, but it's going to give us both of them, obviously. Cons, aim down sight speed, aiming stability, whereas the Cronin is going to prioritize vertical over horizontal. So in this case, you can see the Cronin might give you a little bit better, but it's prioritizing vertical. For the Havoc 90, I like this one. And you can see here, we're going to tune it to max recoil stabilization and max gun kick. So let's go ahead and see how this thing handles. just let this thing rip at full auto. You can see it's just not even gonna move. Like, it is just a laser. I find it best to engage even with the magnification here. Very easy to take out these targets and just let it rip. Really not a lot of movement on this at all. You can see, go ahead now and use the one times. Just a dead accurate weapon there. Take a look at the recoil pattern on this thing. It's very, very easy to control. Because of the horizontal recoil, all you gotta really do is pull down. You can see it's just up and to the left slightly. And again, even though we don't have it tuned for 8-ohm sight speed, it's really not that bad. It's not like you're typically gonna be in CQC with this thing, and even if you are, the aim down sight speed is not terrible by any means. But you can just dump rounds with this pretty easily. Just a beautiful weapon. I always love the M13 or the M6 versus. Go ahead and back out. That's our M13 build. Thing's a beast. Next up, one of my Mark 17 builds I've been playing with lately that I really, really like. So this thing, same idea here. We're going loud for max recoil control. In this case here on the Mark 17 or the Scar Heavy, we're going to run the Sock and Thread 40. So this is going to give us vertical recoil prioritized over horizontal, but it's given us both, and you can see the cons there. And again, we're tuning this the exact same. So pretty much all these attachments are going to tune the exact same. We're using the base barrel for this one. You could run a 20-inch barrel, but it doesn't help you with the recoil really whatsoever. So I would say just leave it at the base barrel because we can use other attachments here. For the laser optic, I'm running the LAS44V3. This is going to give us the green laser, aim down sight speed, aim and stability. You're losing out on sprint to fire speed on this, but I personally don't think you really need sprint to fire speed on this. That's obviously going to help if you're running it more close quarters and things like that, but this is not really built for snappy close quarters run and gun. So green laser, and it just looks better on that top mount, honestly, just having that fat laser light combo looking attachment there. Next, for the optic, I would recommend any 1 to 1.5 times. I think is really good on this. You get further magnified optics on this thing, and it gets a little bit harder to control. But in this case, we're running the Corvus Solo 76, and just tuning that eye position all the way to far. 50-round drum of that 7.62 by 51, and then the Hex 40 grip. You can see the pros there. Recoil steadiness definitely helps, along with the aim walking steadiness there also, and that's going to be tuned for max aim down sight and max hip recoil control. So this thing, the Mark 17 or the Scar Heavy with the Desert Hybrid camo on this, in case some of you are wondering, just a beautiful looking weapon. And especially we're using the Mud and Guts blueprint here, so we get that top mounted laser there, which it just looks awesome. You can see the cable management there also looking really good. Take this thing in the gunsmith really quick. You can see I love this blueprint because you get the top mounted laser on this weapon. Just a beautiful looking gun. It looks great with that fat laser on there. I love it. So just fire this thing. You can see it is pretty accurate on full auto. This is honestly one of the better, with the 1 times optic here, this is one of the best recoil manageable builds that I've come up with lately. If you guys have any better builds, let me know for best recoil. But as far as like viability, you can see the aim down sight speed is pretty good. We just let this thing rip. Really, even though I wasn't really hitting the target there, but the point was to just kind of show it's not going to move too much. So let's do it once more time. We'll dump the rest of this 36 down there. It's not like you're going to be engaging targets typically that far, but if you need to, it's pretty accurate. And the good thing is that green laser, you can definitely use that to help with your aim. So definitely a great weapon. Let's take a look at the recoil pattern. So still pretty much straight vertical, going to wobble a little bit here and there, but not bad at all. The other option for this would be to swap out the socket with the bore 90. However, I found that the Scar Heavy just climbs vertically so heavily. Even with the bore 90, it's kind of hard to control. So I decided to go with the sock and thread. You can also run something like the lever is also pretty good. But I personally like the sock and thread. So that's the Mark 17. Next up, we have a RAL build. So the RAL is one of the more overlooked weapons, I think, in Warzone and DMZ. You often forget how powerful this thing is, firing that large 338 normal Magnum round. So what we're running here is the, for for the MG338, we're running the Sig Sauer suppressor on this. The Relentless 40 going to give us sound suppression, recoil, smoothness, recoil control. This is going to the suppressor for the best recoil control overall out of all of these. The cons here, you're losing damage at range, but again, doesn't really matter because it's such a large caliber, the 338 Normal Magnum, so you really doesn't. I wouldn't be concerned with losing damage at range. Now we're running the Rhino barrel. It's going to give us max, the heaviest barrel here, max recoil control. It's going to give us the bullet velocity also. We have this tuned to max damage, max recoil steadiness. Same with the suppressor. We have it tuned to max recoil smoothness, and the other position is this there in the middle. For the optic here, I'm running the Vortex 90. Again, this is the 5x flip. Dual optic magnification, so, and it's a clean sight picture too, so we have that tuned eye position all the way far. Armor piercing rounds on this thing, because it's going to give us bullet penetration and vehicle damage in case we run into enemy players in cars, things like that, or need to wall bang stuff. This thing is going to shred through that stuff. And then for the grip, we're running the the SA side grip, so this is going to give us best recoil control for this attachment, and again, tuned max recoil stabilization. So this is the MG338, or the RAL MG. You can definitely swap out the ammo type for a laser if you feel the need to. However, I really don't think you need to. Aimed on sight is going to be slow as heck, but again, this is not something you're going close quarters with. This is going to destroy players at ranges, and you can see the recoil is not bad at all, especially if I were to mount this. It's just going to easily chew through things. You can see how accurate it is. And it blows through vehicles pretty quickly as well. So that's the MG338. Really good weapon there. Really enjoying using that. Next up, the last one we'll probably show here. Marksman Rifles. You guys probably saw it in the live stream I did on Sunday. Is going to be the M110. So this specific M110 build, we had some really good engagements with this thing. So what we're running on this is the 14-inch Chroma LRS. If you guys want to watch the weapon conversion video for the M110 SAS, go ahead and check out that video on the channel. I did that last week. We did the weapon conversion, go into all the details on this weapon in real life, and convert it from the base Tempest turret into this. So this is going to give us, and as far as the integrally suppressed barrel, like it's saying here, we go into all that in real life. So it's obviously not really an integrally suppressed barrel. This is a Knights Armament Company suppressor that is on this. It's just a long suppressor that fits over the end of the barrel. So in real life, this is more of a 20-inch barrel with a really big suppressor on there is what it is. But we're going to run this barrel, so it comes 2-in-1 with the barrel and the suppressor on there. Going to give us really the best damage at range, honestly, for all of these, even better than the outreach. When you look at it statistically, the range is going to be better. So is the damage is comparable. So really good option. You get 2-in-1 again, barrel and suppressor. Tune this thing max recoil steadiness and max damage at range. Skip out on the laser here for this one. We're gonna run the Heat Source 800. So I actually just like really love the way this looks, because it's a big fat scope. You got that thermal magnifier there on the end, 8.7 times magnification, and you get the thermal target identifier. It has a large scope glint, but damn is it fun to use. Tune this all the way eye position to far. We'll leave the other one there in the middle. And then for the buttstock option, they fixed this glitch finally, so you can actually do it. The Demo Precision Elite Factory, going to give us recoil control, so improved recoil control. We're just going to leave that as is. We don't really need to tune this one too much unless you want to. And then I'm going to be running armor-piercing rounds. Again, bullet penetration, vehicle penetration. You can feel free to run something like overpressured or any of these other ones, maybe hollow point as well, based on what you're feeling. Or you could swap this out for a laser. However, armor piercing, I found engaging vehicles with this is definitely a lot better because you get the penetration on it, and you have that 20-round mag, so you can fire pretty quick. Then we're going to run the bipod grip on this. Bipod mount, recoil steadiness, tune this to max aim down sight speed, and tune it to hip recoil control. And that's our final design here for the M110 SAS. You can see the semi-automatic sniper system is what that stands for. Just a beautiful looking weapon. Take it in here to the gunsmith. Take a look at this thing in action. Not only is the inspec just awesome on this weapon, great to have an M110 here in the game. Conversion here from the base SR25. Just looks great. Love the inspect on there. This big scope looks awesome too. Now, even if we're not mounting it The rate of fire is really quick, and you can control this for these closer. I would say this far one I think is 20 meters. So this you don't need. It's not like you need to mount anything or even hold your breath. It's gonna be a 2-shot kill with no plates. Even that far target, just spamming the rate of fire as fast as you can is gonna kill very quickly. Again, quick reload there. Now, if we mount it, let's just reload quickly. Just dump through this, and I'm just going to keep firing all 20 so you can see the rate of fire and the accuracy. So we are not going to be holding our breath. I really always forget. Here, I can try it. We'll hold. So, again, look at the recoil there. Almost non-existent. The bipod grip allows you to mount, especially laying prone on different surfaces. Can be a little bit difficult based on the surface, but it's a lot of fun. And don't forget the reload animation is just great. That mag flip looks awesome. So, great weapon. Love this thing. That's the M110 SAS. Let me know your thoughts down below. Which one is your favorite here out of all these? I love the M110 SAS. I would say the 8.7 optic on this is ideal for the range with this weapon. Anything, the Luka Field 6 is nice, but realistically engaging targets with that 12 times magnification at those longer ranges really isn't that feasible. I think this is the perfect magnification. The only problem is you have a large scope lens, so just keep that in mind. You can also run something like the Luka SP, or even this if you wanted to. But I think something around the 8 to 9 magnification range is ideal for this weapon. So let me know what your favorites are. The M110 and the Virtus happen to be kind of probably my two favorites right now. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are down below. Obviously, we're running our Shadow Company operator. Excited for some maybe some soap bundles here coming up. Let me know your thoughts down below. Social media links, all of that down below, and we may be having some nice streams here coming up. So stay tuned for that. Maybe this weekend, probably get on a regular stream schedule here. Definitely for Sundays, I think is going to be the go-to going forward. But we have Season 3 right on the corner. Let me know your thoughts down below. Till next time, this is Buffering Gaming, out.